Fasten your seatbelts. It's going to be a bumpy night.
But tell me, Eddie, is that a rabbit in your pocket or you're just happy to see me?
Hello, everyone. Welcome. I'm going to be off camera tonight because I'm not feeling too well. I didn't want to reschedule this, so I figured I'll just forego putting makeup on and just stay behind the scenes.
Yeah, I did exactly the same, so you wouldn't feel alone. I avoided putting on makeup as well.
But we're here talking our own personal top 10 2004 films. So, again, this is subjective. If you're new here, it does not necessarily mean that these films necessarily are objectively good. They don't, at least they're not great. They might not even be objectively good. They could be even objectively bad, but objectively, we love them. So, I'll say hello to everyone. Appreciate the well wishes in the chat. But before I say hello to the chat, and then we do the ritual D20 dice roll to see who starts first. Stig, let everybody know where they can find you and all that fun stuff.
Right here. Tomorrow I'll be on Miss Martin Muse's channel with her and Maury talking about horror movies we watched during Halloween. So that's at 1 p.m. Eastern. So horror movie talk. Other than that, I'll be here in the month, somewhere in December.
Yeah, I gotta look and see what the Wednesdays are, so I know for sure which Wednesday it will be.
Not close to Christmas would be good for me.
Well, no, it's definitely not going to be that. It's just I'd have to look at the dates in December.
Yeah.
Because I don't know offhand, like what either the first or second Wednesday dates are right now. So, but anyway, I'm gonna say hello to the chats, and then again, if you're new here, Steve rolls a D20 to see who goes first.
Also, Gravy D is spitting facts.
Yeah, I know, I saw. So, welcome, Anthony. Trey, good to see you. Tara Crystal, good to see you. Hold on. 3 of those movies made my list.
Yeah, I'm not going to spoil anything, but I'm pretty sure we have the same number 1.
I don't think so. I can just about bet we don't have the same number 1. Hello, Soul. Good to see you, Jaluk. Mike Hill, hello. And Harry Potter can get fucked. Jam, hello. All right. Like I said, I doubt. I have bet even money that we do not have the same number 1.
Yeah, I tend to get a lot of the same ones that Trey does. We seem to be on the same frequency.
Mm-hmm.
Because Trey is my uncle, and so is Gravy.
Oh my god. But anyway, sorry. Wish I could be a bit more lively tonight, Chad, but I am very tired. So, Steve, let's roll the die. See who goes first.
Okay, do you want number 1 to 10 or 11 to 20?
11 to 20.
Fuckery. This doesn't fucking count. I'm rolling again.
All right.
20.
Anyway, chat. All right. Like I said, I don't think anyone is going to guess my number 1 for 2004. But anyway, my number 10 is a movie filmed entirely with marionettes, pretty much. From Trey Stone and, Trey Parker, I should say, and Matt Stone. Got their names mixed up a little bit. The creators behind South Park, and that is Team America, World Police.
Never seen it.
It is definitely uh if you've seen South Park, you know the humor. You know the humor in Team America. It's very much the humor from South Park. It's very much Trey Parker and Matt Stone's humor. And basically, this guy who's an actor is recruited to infiltrate this terrorist group, and he's recruited by Team America, World Police. And this is pretty much what most people quote right here, Durka Durka, because basically whenever the terrorists talk, like they just say Durka Durka, Muhammad Jihad, like just random words basically whenever they're speaking. And then without going into details, because you haven't seen it, I don't want to necessarily spoil anything. But eventually, the plot moves to North Korea, and basically like Trey Parker and Matt Stone make fun of celebrities. Hey, Ms. Muses, in this basically, like how basically celebrities are idiots. And I don't know who does the voice of Kim. It's 2004, so Kim Jong Il was still alive, and he sings a song called "I'm So Lonely," basically like full on making fun of Kim Jong Il. Like they basically lampoon not everyone, but most of the celebrities that were very vocal, especially in the early days of the U.S. and like entering Afghanistan and Iraq, basically. Yeah, Matt Damon says, "I'm Matt Damon." So basically, especially Alec Baldwin, they basically lampoon a bunch of people, and they do it basically America fuck yeah style. That's about what I'm going to say for Team America World Police. Like I said, since Stig, you said you haven't seen it, I don't want to spoil anything for you.
Well, would you recommend me watching it?
I'd recommend you watching it at least once.
Yeah, okay.
I think my favorite conversation is I'm not going to spoil anything from the conversation, but the pussy dicks and ass. Or pussies dicks and assholes. I'm not going to say what the conversation is because the humor is very much in the dialogue of that back and forth. And as crude as it is, basically, it makes sense.
Yeah, well, I do enjoy South Park. So
yeah, so I think like if you enjoy South Park, I think you'll enjoy Team America for the most part. I'm not saying necessarily that you're going to love it or anything, but I think you should watch it at least once. I'm saying they've always made fun of celebrities. I'm saying like in Team America, they like lampoon certain celebrities, basically like the certain celebrities I'm talking about, like I said, are the ones that were very vocal during the early years of Afghanistan and Iraq, basically, because I believe Sean Penn is there and so forth. And they're lampooning shit that each one of them has said, basically. So, but I'd give it a watch. I would give it a watch. Team America World Police. It's basically like done pretty much entirely with marionettes. So it's a very interesting concept. So, but anyway, that's my number 10.
Well, my number 10 is I guess it's a remake. The Grudge.
Mm-hmm. Yes, definitely. It's a Western remake.
Yeah.
Because the original is Japanese.
Yeah. And probably the Japanese one is better.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it's a horror story, much in the same alley as The Ring, I'd say.
Yes, it's very much in those lines, basically.
Yeah, starring Sarah Michelle Gellar. It does take place in Japan, though, doesn't it?
Yeah, it takes place in Japan. It's a Western remake, but it takes place still in Japan. So
yeah, which is I thought it was good that they did that.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of straightforward horror story, but it's more eerie and creepy than most ghost stories, right?
Well, yeah, because it has a similar feel from the original.
Yeah.
So
The Ring was a better movie, though. But this one, it's fine. It's a good one to watch on Halloween, but it doesn't reinvent the wheel either. But I've never seen anyone that hates it, you know. But I haven't seen anyone who call it 10 out of 10 either.
Yeah, it's a decent remake, basically. I think the original is slightly better, but then I generally just have
Yeah,
uh,
yeah,
uh more of a preference for the Asian horror movies. It's like
yeah.
most times Mhm.
Yeah, it basically made my list because of rewatchability. I've watched it so many times; it just qualified from that. But
Mhm.
I think, yeah, I agree with Trey's calling it a 7 out of 10, and yeah,
Yeah, it's
it's
not
probably
bad. It's just it's one of those where it just doesn't quite match the original.
yeah. I have never seen the original, but I
Mhm.
assume the Japanese version is better because they tend to uh, go all in, you
Mhm.
know.
So, yeah.
But yeah, The Grudge.
Mhm. All right.
Number 9 is also a remake, I believe, but I've never seen the original. It's action comedy, Walking Tall, which I think was the first movie The Rock was the lead in, or something.
I'd have to see it. It might have been, or at least very close. I've seen that. It did not make my list, but I know I've seen it because that's the one where he returns to his hometown and the sheriff is pretty
Yeah,
much corrupt, or like the law enforcement is, and another group are pretty much in cahoots, corrupt, and so
yeah,
forth.
yeah. And
Well, he wasn't a
Johnny,
lead. No, he wasn't a lead in that. Well, was he a lead? Was Scorpion? Did
he,
Scorpion King come out before Walking Tall?
um, yeah, it was. So my bad.
Okay, I was
Um,
like, I couldn't remember when exactly Scorpion King came out.
yeah, but anyway, Walking Tall, straightforward action
Hmm.
comedy. Not particularly brutal because The Rock doesn't want to use guns, so he uses a 2x4
Yeah.
through most of the movie. It's got Neil McDonough as the villain.
Hmm.
Excellent actor, incredibly underrated. Johnny Knoxville is in it too, and
Yeah.
he's not bad in this.
No,
He's
it's one of those where it's like I think like comedians are overlooked in terms of acting because sometimes like yeah like he was kind of comic relief in that movie,
yeah,
but at the same time it's like people don't give comedians or like comedy actors enough credit for playing like a bit more serious roles, and he
yeah,
showed in that movie that he could basically turn off the humor when it was necessary and then turn it back on.
yeah. He wasn't bad in it whatsoever. I mean,
Mhm.
sometimes the comedic sidekick is annoying.
Yeah, that's why I said he was able to turn it off and on when it was needed, so it wasn't like overbearing, like
Yeah,
overbearing on the comedic side. But then again, like like he was just funny enough that he was a comedic relief or
yeah,
the comic relief, but not to the point of annoyance.
yeah. Rob Schneider tends to be annoying. I mean, look at the
One of his
judge.
early voice, I think, like he was kind of like Adam Sandler's. They were cast like as caricatures, and then
Yeah,
I think I think he's definitely toned down. So
yeah, could be. But anyway, Walking Tall. It's not even long. I think it's barely an hour and a half.
mhm,
But
yeah.
you want to just relax and just watch some straight up fun. There you go.
Hmm. Yeah, so I was like, I might rewatch it. I wanted to put it on my list, but I didn't remember it enough.
Yeah,
To I'm not. I'm saying I don't like remember hating it, but I didn't remember enough to know. It's like did I love it enough to put it on my top 10? I think like probably I would have put between Walking Tall and what was this movie with Sean William Scott?
Welcome to the Jungle.
No, no, that's not it. With Sean William Scott running, is it Running Scared?
No, no, it's Welcome to the Jungle because they
It's
go
not
into the
Welcome to the Jungle. The Rundown. Thank you. And it was an
oh,
R.
oh
It's not
it's
Welcome to the Jungle.
it's called the Rundown. Welcome to the Jungle.
Okay, no, it's the Rundown. All right, there's no fucking subtitle to it. It's just the Rundown.
Mm,
I know Welcome to the Jungle was the Jumanji reboot, but not Rundown.
mm. Maybe it's
Yeah,
a
the
European.
Rundown. I think I put the Rundown a bit above Walking Tall. You want to look it up?
We're both right. The Rundown is the U.S. title. The Rundown, Welcome to the Jungle, is European.
All right, so as I'm saying, the U.S. it was not. There was no subtitle.
Yeah.
But I would put Rundown just above Walking Tall.
Oh, it's so much fun when the jungle guy beats the shit out of the Rock in that one.
Yeah. So I think I kind of liked the back and forth with the Rock and Sean William Scott.
Yeah.
So.
That's also an underrated actor.
Mm-hmm.
Sean Williams Scott.
Yeah.
But anyway,
right.
Walking Tall at number 9.
All right. My number 9 is actually the same as yours, Gravy, because I was like looking at the chat, and that's the remake of Dawn of the Dead. If you know the original Dawn of the Dead, it's not much different in terms of like where it takes place.
Almost made my list.
Mm-hmm.
In that case, the remake is better, isn't it?
Yeah. I would put the remake above the original. Not that I don't like the original, but I think the remake was better. It's kind of like the Texas Chainsaw Massacre movies. My hot take is the reboot is better.
Yeah, I think so too.
But anyway, if you know the original, you know that basically a zombie outbreak happens. You know, it's kind of like it's not ignoring the events of like the original Night of the Living Dead, but it kind of like takes place like different parts of the United States, and the zombie outbreak happens, and it forces survivors, or at least as many survivors as possible, who can get there to basically hold up in a mall, basically. Yeah, that's pretty much their sanctuary for most of the movie until certain things begin to transpire. And I don't want to say what, because it kind of spoils some things. It's not exactly major spoilers, but again, if you haven't seen the movie, like with zombie movies, they aren't completely safe. Like something always inevitably happens, whether it's a zombie like somehow like breaks its way into wherever it is the survivors are holding up, to someone is welcome into the sanctuary who doesn't exactly reveal certain things about what's happened to him or her.
Yeah.
Right. So again, like I said, I don't want to necessarily spoil anything that happens, but it's crazy. And one of my favorite parts of the movie is it's more of a song than anything, basically. But the movie took the song Down with the Sickness and then had it like in like the tune of like how Frank Sinatra sang his songs. And in a weird way it worked when they were showing the montage. Yeah, Disturbed to Get Down with the Sickness, but it wasn't Disturbed singing, or at least like it wasn't like their style, basically. It was like in the style of Frank Sinatra, like those old crooners during the montage.
This movie is also why we got the Left 4 Dead games, because it's completely inspired by this movie.
Mm-hmm. And there's and it's a diverse cast, and like genuinely diverse, basically. So it's not like, oh, we need a DEI character here and here and here and here, basically, to make up for whatever tokenization needed for the movie. No, it's just like it's a believable diverse cast where all these people need to hold up somewhere, and it happens to be a mall, and there's going to be a mix.
Yeah.
So, and I liked also the back and forth with the guy that was on the roof of the gun store across from the mall. So they would have hold up signs. And another one of my favorite scenes is like when they hold up signs. And I can't say what it is because it's humorous, but I really liked it.
Yeah, and an American mall would be diverse.
Yeah,
completely.
Because Laurel Productions, basically George Romero's production company, basically, is because he was actually from Pennsylvania. So much of his zombie movies, his Living Dead movies, were shot in Pennsylvania. So I know where the movie was shot. The original movie was shot. I've actually been there. So, yeah, I think Jaluk knows what part I'm talking about, basically. Well, the dog, as far as we know, survives because this is actual zombie lore, not like The Walking Dead, where the zombies will actually ignore animals. They ignore in original zombie lore. Zombies ignore animals because they're cannibalistic. They're after humans. It's like an innate drive within them to go after humans, so they ignore the four-legged creatures. Walking Dead ignored that little element, which is part of the reason why I stopped watching that show. I was like, okay, this is not zombie lore. Anyway, my number 9 is Dawn of the Dead. If you haven't seen it, I would actually, if I were to be recommending anything, I would recommend watching both the original and the remake so you can compare and contrast the two.
Yes.
If you've not seen either one. So, yeah, but my number 9 is Dawn of the Dead. Okay. My number 8, you see basically on the thumbnail, and that is Van Helsing. Basically, Hugh Jackman, Kate Beckinsale.
That's my number 8 too.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Well, that works.
You get a
I'll
double
go a little bit.
there. I usually put a star on the thing if we have the same movies, and if it's the same in the same spot, I give 2 stars.
Yeah. So, but I think it is an underrated movie. It is an underrated movie. Basically, Hugh Jackman plays Van Helsing. It's not the Van Helsing we necessarily know from Bram Stoker's Dracula. Basically, he's commissioned.
He's a rip-off of Solomon Kane.
I know, pretty much. Basically, he's commissioned or employed, or like however you want to put it, by the church to hunt down monsters. Because when we first see him, he's going after a monster. I'm not going to say which one if you haven't seen it, but he's going after a monster so we get a feel for his hunting style or his fighting style. And then he's sent into basically Carpathian Mountains, Transylvania, because...
Would you say the first monster can't hide from him?
Okay, I'm trying not to spoil anything if people haven't seen it. But he's like sent because to basically to how do I put it? End Dracula's reign, and so many words, and basically end Dracula's life. And also it includes Frankenstein's monster, as well as a werewolf, or So,
also,
so like
Kate Beckinsale's accent in that one is fucking atrocious.
Oh yeah,
which makes it better because it is supposed to be cheesy, isn't it? Kind of like cheesy, just campy fun.
Yeah. So I don't so I don't put much stock into her accents or her role in this. Like she was, accent aside, she was decent basically. Even it touches on all the Universal monsters.
Yeah.
Hey, I shopped at Hot Topic, so I still kind of do basically, even though Hot Topic is not the same as it was, essentially. But I like the wardrobe in Van Helsing. You have David Wenham, who plays a friar, who's basically
he's actually good at comedy.
What?
He's actually good at comedy in it.
Yeah. He sent kind of to assist Van Helsing and kind of keep an eye on him, basically. So it's and I did like his comic relief with Hugh Jackman's Van Helsing, so I think they both worked.
Yeah, it's kind of like Solomon Kane mixed with James Bond because he's basically Q.
Yeah. And that's basically the gist of the movie without going into certain details. Pretty much, it's a campy, fun movie. You're following Hugh Jackman as Van Helsing as he battles the universal monsters essentially that we know: Dracula, with the werewolf or the Wolfman, how you want to put it, Frankenstein's monster, and so forth. It's basically implying essentially that these creatures are real, and so forth. So, but anyway, that's my number 8. And
the Romanian village, the snowy one. I thought that one looked awesome. It's straight out of pulp.
Yeah. And of course, Dracula has like 3 vampire brides. I think like the actor who plays Dracula married one of the brides in real life. I think it was the one with like the long dark hair. I want to say it's she. That they they married in real life.
The brides were solid actors as well, I thought, for what they had to work with.
Yeah. And they each had, from what you could tell, even like briefly from their appearances, like different personalities. So it's not like they were all this like the same. Essentially, you could like tell like different demeanors and so forth amongst the 3.
Plus, they didn't all get killed off at once in the same scene like they usually tend to do. They lasted a bit longer.
Yeah. So, but anyway, that's my number 8, and that's your number 8. So,
yeah. So I'm skipping my number 8 then, because we just did it, and moving on to 7.
Yep, you start that.
7 is the one I have in 7 is brilliant. Actually, it is a brilliant movie. It's fucking evil and nasty, and it started a franchise. It's Saw.
I did not put that. It would have been like an honorable mention. I do like it. I do like Saw. They were the first movie.
The series has probably run its course now because it's like 10 or 11 of them.
Well, they're coming up with another one basically. So
yeah,
it's just like I think like with the new one, it's gone back to its roots as best it can. But for a while, the reason why I kind of like dipped from that franchise is because it became more torture porn.
Yeah.
And I was okay, that's this is I'm not expecting much from these movies, but at the same time, I expect a little bit more. So
at least have a point.
Yeah.
Just trying to outgross the previous one.
Yeah.
But this one has a plot and it's solid. There's several twists in it. And you go from wow, damn, I should have seen it, right?
Yeah,
several times in a row in the last 10 minutes.
Yeah,
incredibly well acted. What is it? Carrie Elvis? Is that how you pronounce it?
I believe that's how you pronounce his last name. Yeah, Carrie Elvis and Lee Wanell. It's basically like those are really the 2 that carry the movie. Like there are other characters in the movie because of trying to find these 2 men. But really, like those 2, if they didn't put in like good performances, that movie would have flopped. It was like those 2 that your focus is on.
Yeah, and Shawnee Smith was an underrated actress.
Yeah, Jacob watched Saw, the first Saw movie from 2004.
Yeah, Danny Glover's solid, Dina Meyer's solid. Everyone's solid in this.
Yeah, I can't think of like one, like even in just the minor supporting roles, I can't think of one that was like, okay, you should have been recast or you're miscast.
Yeah,
they're all decent.
Probably if you go by how solidly acted and the plot and the twists, it all works. It's probably a 10 out of 10 from what they were trying to do.
I say subjectively and how Warren Chad does his ratings. I'd say definitely subjectively and moviegoer 10 out of 10. I'd have to go back and rewatch it because there might be some slight, like a little bit of objective things here and there, but I'd say damn near close to a 10. I'd say even a 9 to a 9.5.
Yeah. And
it's one of those where it's like, I remember when I was watching for the first time and you mentioned the last 10 minutes, that really was a holy shit 10 minutes.
It worked. And, a lot of people keep saying the 80s was the best for horror movies, and I'm like, nah, the 2000s are better.
Yeah, I'd say like for me, like the reason why the 80s, I don't, it's most likely nostalgia for most people, but the
Yeah.
reason why I would put the 90s even and the 2000s above the 80s is because the 80s was basically the rise and focus on slasher movies.
Yeah, and because people go, oh yeah, Pinhead and Freddy, they're iconic. Yes, but not all of those movies are 10 out of 10s. They get worse and worse and worse. I mean,
Hmm.
you know, uh,
Yeah,
what
so it's like you
we
definitely see. You never saw Saw. Well, if you're being serious, Gigawatt, you should watch. You should see Saw.
yeah,
But anyway, you should watch it. And I'm saying like it was not. I'm not saying that it was entirely focused on slashers, but it's like almost a guarantee with studios back then, where it's like, okay, like like people liked the first Nightmare on Elm Street movie, let's just churn out like a bunch of those. People like the first Friday the 13th movies, let's churn out a bunch of those. It became like easy for studios, just like,
yeah,
hey, do a sequel to one of the slasher franchises.
yeah. But in the 2000s, you have all kinds of well, you have The Ring and The Grudge. You have Saw as kind of a horror movie,
Yeah.
right? And
Yeah, and Pinhead Hellraiser didn't come out until like 1987, so it came out around the tail end
yeah,
of the 80s, and that's based on the books. You can't even like say, oh, like it's like oh, it's yeah, Pinhead is iconic. He's one of my favorite horror villains, but at the same time, it's like, well, that's based on the book.
yeah. Oh yeah, 30 Days of Night is 2000s, and so is The Descent.
Oh yeah, I love The Descent. I'm not going to say anything about this. My Bloody Valentine remake, which was better than the original. Yeah, that was good.
Yeah. Anyway, that was my number 7, and we've done my number 8, so you can do 7 and 6.
Yep, my number 7 is actually like objectively, I would say it's like not the best movie, especially not in connection with a couple franchises, but subjectively, I enjoy the hell out of it, and that is Alien versus Predator. It was once, at least from what I remember watching, it was like one of the first times you had both the Xenomorph and the Yautja on screen. Right?
Yeah, and I thought they did the Alien Queen perfectly in it, but PG-13 put me off it, and then the fact that they set it in current day. With that,
I didn't mind current day, but it definitely should not have been PG-13.
it basically fucked up the Alien lore. If they had set it 200 years in the future or something, which they could have easily done, right? Because all they needed was a futuristic-looking chopper at the beginning.
Maybe, yeah.
So,
Like I said, I know it's not objectively good. I will admit it's not objectively good. It's dumb fun.
Yeah,
but I love
it's still entertaining.
Alien vs. Predator. I'm just saying, like, I subjectively like that movie. I just loved watching. I mean, human characters aside, I loved watching the Xenomorphs and Yautja on screen together. That's pretty much why I put it on the list. Like every time it's on, it's not so much I'm watching it because I like the characters. It's because I want to see those two on screen.
Also, black female lead.
Yeah.
I was told that didn't happen until a couple of years ago. Weird.
Yeah. Oh, and the whole team up with the Yautja, like like the new Predator Badlands movie. Oh, they love to forget that happened, even because even despite the fact that it's for convenience sake, that team up did happen in Alien versus Predator.
You know where it happened as well? In the Predator comics, which were canon, and it happened in the comic where the Predator gets the pistol from the pirate. So when they keep doing that, it's like, yeah, was done in that thing. You guys fucking screwed up in the lore.
Oh, you talking about Prey, where they fucked up that whole Predator lore with that? Yeah, I remember that. I think that movie's biggest sin is the fact that it was boring as fuck. But they did, screw up Predator lore with that.
Yeah, continuity got wrecked,
and somehow that man was trusted with another Predator movie.
Yeah, because people keep praising it. But when they made Predator 2,
Hmm.
Gary Busey had consumed everything Predator.
Yeah.
So he explained that, yeah, Arnold's not in it because he's been he got captured to be interrogated and stuff, and then
Hmm.
he ran off, and that's why Gary Busey's character is looking. He was looking for Arnold when the Predator showed up in L.A.,
Hmm.
and
Like,
that
oh my
is
god, an actor actually did research.
yeah, and that was word by word what had happened in the novels leading up to it.
Hmm.
So, and he even explained what would happen if Predator did his detonation thing
Hmm.
in LA. He explained it from a scientific level. He had gone that deep into the lore, what would happen to the human bodies and stuff. So credit to the
Yeah.
guy.
Well, I'm saying, like, yeah, he actually did research. He's not like he didn't just accept the role. He's like, okay, I'm stepping
Yeah,
into this part that's has existing canon associated with it, not just one movie. So I'm going to have to do some research.
yeah. He read everything and
Yeah.
invested time and uh, made sure he understood it. So understanding the source material is vital. You know.
I don't know if you've read this, but Soul Assassin says that for Danny Glover's character, the If It Bleeds has a sequel story for his character.
Yeah, I've not read it, but I have bought some Predator novels, but I'm still
Hmm.
collecting those, so I will get it and read it for sure.
Hmm.
And Danny Glover's character was awesome.
Yeah, another example of like a organically diverse cast.
Yeah, in both Predators, actually, all
Yeah,
the first three.
yeah. So it's like just be it's again organically diverse.
Yeah,
Not okay. We have to have an Asian character, or we have to have a black character. We have to have this. We have to have that. We have to have this. It's like then it becomes tokenization.
yeah. And the weird thing is, like, yeah, everyone needs to be represented. Like,
Hmm.
why? I never felt the need to be represented in any movie or TV show at all.
No, and
I just
I
want to
love
know
the fact that
the
they
characters.
say it has to like represent the demographic. Like when they're talking, they say represent the demographics of the United States. I'm like, okay, let's say you have a cast of 10 characters. Well, guess what? White people make up like 70% right now
Yeah,
of the US demographics, which means you would have 7 white people, 1 black, 1 Asian, and 1 whatever. And even then, okay, how do you break down the Asian characters? Because there's Japanese, there's Chinese, there's Korean, there's Vietnamese, there's Cantonese, there's Philippines.
yeah. I think the last time a Norwegian was represented was maybe in the prequel to The Thing.
Hmm.
They actually had Norwegians in there, but they were cannon fodder.
Yeah,
I guess maybe Thor,
maybe.
but
Like that. I guess technically Norse mythology, even though it's Marvel
yeah.
Marvelization of Norse mythology.
The fun thing about that is we don't say Thor because we don't have the th sound in our language.
Hmm.
So he wouldn't even be called that by the Vikings and the Swedish guy, the scientist guy. But and then Heimdall was definitely not black because
Yeah,
in Norse mythology he's described as the palest of the gods. So I don't
yeah.
think Idris Elba is particularly pale.
No,
And if he's the palest, who would play the other gods like Wesley Snipes or something? You know?
I don't know, but yeah, that's my number 7, Alien versus Predator. Dumb fun. Yeah,
Campy
I
fun.
don't watch it because I like the characters necessarily. I just like watching the xenomorphs and Yalchas on screen.
You know what? It actually works as a double feature with Van Helsing because they're
I could
both
see
so
that.
campy.
Yeah. At least I think like the lore aside, I'm not trying to discount the lore. It should have been R-rated. It definitely should have been R-rated. You have xenomorphs and Yalchas on screen. Yalchas killing humans, xenomorphs killing humans, and then Yalchas and xenomorphs fighting. So
Yeah.
it should have been rated R. I think like that was like it, and again, like not to discount the lore breaking, it should have been rated R. Making it PG-13 is like kind of like how like that rating killed Expendables 3.
Yeah, and it also killed RoboCop.
Yeah, so no.
And
But
Die
anyway.
Hard.
Yeah. So that's my number 7. Is AVP.
Hmm.
All right. So sorry, my number 6. My number 6 is a play on a previous title on my list. It is the first in what is called the Cornetto trilogy by Edgar Wright, which primarily stars Simon Pegg and Nick Frost. And that's Shaun of the Dead.
That's the only one they've done that I haven't seen.
You need to watch it. So Shaun of the Dead, because my number 9 was Dawn of the Dead. I have Shaun of the Dead, basically. And I remember when I initially watched the movie, I thought it was okay. Then the more I watch it, the more it grew on me because of the dry British humor.
You know,
it definitely made Simon Pegg a household name moving forward.
If you play some role-playing game, right, and you have you create a female necromancer and name her Dawn, she would be Dawn of the Dead.
Oh my god! Yeah, I would put Hot Fuzz above Shaun of the Dead. I would put I would put this in this order: Hot Fuzz, Shaun of the Dead, At World's End.
At World's End, I didn't like at all.
I liked parts of it. I understood where they were going with it because I know the original movie they were pulling from, basically. But then the whole message with it, I was like, okay, now you're losing me. It was fine. Like there were parts where it was funny, and then there were parts where I was like, you didn't need that. So that's why that would put World's End last. Yeah, but Hot Fuzz is the best of the 3.
Well, that one's awesome.
Yeah, but Shaun of the Dead, it's like a satire of zombie films. And Simon Pegg plays this he's a man that has no motivation in his life. Like even his girlfriend is I just want you to do something. Do something. And he's working at kind of a dead end electronics. He's as an electronics store salesman. Not really a job that has any type of future really whatsoever. It's basically because his character's lazy. He goes with whatever easiest for him, basically. I think that's where the ending of At World's End, that's where it lost me primarily. That's where the messages were starting to happen. And I was like, no, stop it. Yeah, it forces Simon Pegg's character to have to step up, basically. But with British humor interwoven in it, basically. So I think you would enjoy it. If you haven't seen it, I think you would enjoy it. I would say, again, I would put Hot Fuzz above it. You'll understand this when you watch it. But yeah. I think it's a funny movie. It definitely, I remember the first time I watched it, I was like, it's okay. But then I watched it again. So I decided to watch it by myself, so I didn't have the influence of other people around me. And I ended up liking it more. And from that point, it grew on me to the point where it's if it's on, I'll sit down and watch it.
Paul wasn't bad either. I like that.
I did not like Paul. I did not like Paul at all. Did not mean to rhyme there, but I did not like that movie at all. It had potential, but there was too many parts in there. I was like, nope, you lost me. There were too many parts.
I'm like the one guy who liked it, apparently.
Probably, yeah. I did not like that movie.
Well, here's the thing. I didn't love it, though. I liked it. So, a 6.
No, I'm saying it's but I didn't even get to the point where I could say I liked it.
Yeah.
There may be parts in there here, sporadically throughout the movie that I might say, okay, I did like that part. But yeah, I'm like Paul. Oh, he fucking annoyed me. Yeah, so I did not like Paul. Paul, I think, is one of their worst movies, in my opinion. But yeah. But yeah, my number 6 is Shaun of the Dead. So
Yeah. My turn now.
yeah, you do number 6 and then you start number 5.
My number 6, I suspect, might be on your list. Harry Potter 3.
No.
Really? Well,
I say moving forward, you can rest assured that I will never have a Harry Potter film on my list.
okay.
Just so you know, I will
Yeah.
not. Mhm.
Well, I won't have one after this.
Mhm.
But this is I'm not sure if you agree, but it was probably the best Harry Potter.
I prefer if I'm going to like say of the because I've seen all the movies. I did appreciate that it got darker. I preferred that over the lighthearted Chris Columbus tones.
Yeah, it definitely shifted with this from number 2.
Mm-hmm.
Which was very family friendly and all that. But
Yeah.
yeah, this one got way darker, and you have the werewolf, which actually looked like a skinned chicken.
Yeah, it does.
Like, didn't have fur. Why not?
Like when that initially happened, I was like, "Are you shitting me?"
Yeah,
But I guess it's kids' movies; it can't be too fearful,
yeah.
too scary.
All the kids had become better actors noticeably in this.
Mm-hmm.
And it introduced a bunch of new guys. Gary Oldman was excellent, and David Thewlis, another underrated actor.
Mm-hmm.
I thought he really shined in this one.
The third Harry Potter movie, Gigawat.
Yeah.
David Thewlis is an underrated actor. I remember the first movie I had ever seen him in was Dragonheart.
Yeah.
And I hated his character in that, but it's not because of his acting, it's because his character is hate-worthy.
Yeah.
In that movie. And then I saw him again in the third Harry Potter movie, and I was like, he looks familiar to me. And I looked him up and I was like, oh, that's where I recognize him from. And I was like, okay, he's playing a character I do like. He's a good actor. So he showed range, at least from what I've seen him in.
Yeah. And this is where they switched Dumbledore as well, because Richard Harris.
Yeah, because Richard Harris passed away. Yeah, so they had to. They had to switch him.
Yeah. But anyway, it's Harry Potter 3. I'm not going to get too much into it because it's part 3 out of 8 or something. So, but yeah, this one's actually one you can watch on Halloween.
If someone so chooses.
Yeah. But it would, out of all of them, it would qualify the most.
Yeah.
But anyway.
Are you starting number 5?
My number 5 is, well, when I'm picking this one, I'm picking the director's cut.
Mm-hmm.
And it's Troy.
Okay. Did not make my list, but okay.
Yeah. The director's cut is way better. Cluttered with big name actors at the time. And it tells the story of the fall of Troy. It's got Orlando Bloom in it, Diane Kruger, I believe. Brian Cox.
Well, the fall of Troy from Greek mythology. So, yeah. Because I don't remember the movie well enough to know if Odysseus was there or not, because the Odyssey picks up after that battle.
Yeah, Odysseus is in it.
Okay, couldn't remember. I remember seeing the movie once, and it did not quite make an impression on me.
Yeah, well, I think he's more in it in the director's cut.
Okay.
So, and I think they planned an Odysseus spin-off with Sean Bean. Sean Bean survives the Battle of Troy, by the way. Imagine that.
Well, if he played Odysseus, yeah, he had to survive the Battle of Troy. So
yeah, Eric Bana is in it. Orlando Bloom plays Paris, who's a wuss, but he's also the person behind the Achilles heel because he shoots Achilles in the heel. hence why it's called
Why
the
was
Achilles
it
heel.
Paris in original mythology who did it? I know Apollo guided the arrow, but was it Paris who shot it? 'Cause in the
That
original Greek mythology, the reason why the arrow hit Achilles is because Apollo guided the arrow, if I remember correctly.
maybe it wasn't in the.
No, I'm saying like I'm not saying I had to be like necessarily accurate to Greek mythology, but I was like, couldn't remember if actual mythology of Paris is one that did that or not.
Yeah, but in any case, that's where the Achilles heel comes from.
Oh, I know that, yeah. So because
Right.
Achilles, when he was dipped in the river to
And
make him impervious, his heel, because his mom was holding his heel, so his heel didn't get covered with the water.
yeah, which is Siegfried and Siegfried the Dragon Slayer.
Mm-hmm.
It's the same thing. He showers in the blood of Fafnir, the dragon that he kills.
Yeah.
But there's a leaf sticking to his shoulder, or his back or something, and it doesn't get covered in the blood, so he's not impervious to damage there. And that's where they later shoot him to kill him. So it's funny how those myths are similar, isn't it?
So if you read Greek mythology, Soul Assassin, a lot of it is because the Greek gods and goddesses couldn't keep it in their pants.
Yeah, and then sometimes they. It's like ground zero for the furries.
Yeah, or they like to meddle in the affairs of humans because for shits and giggles.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, like if you look at Greek mythology, it's pretty much none of them can keep it in their pants. Just about none of them.
Yeah. But anyway, Troy. Troy is my number 5.
All right, my number 5 matches, I believe, Trey. His number 5. One of the best, I believe, Pixar films. Mainly because it's like a love letter to the superheroes from like the 1940s and 50s and so forth, and that's The Incredibles.
I've never seen that one either.
All right, I'm not going to say too much, basically. But The Incredibles, it starts out basically where superheroes are like a thing, basically. That they're and they all each have different powers. So it's, and of course, I guess superheroes, they keep their identity as secrets, right? But the way this movie portrays it is that while the superheroes have to keep their identity secrets to the rest of humanity, or most of the rest of humanity, because there is an organization that does know their identities, they amongst themselves know their identities. Because you have Mr. Incredible, who's his superpower, he's incredibly strong. He marries Elastigirl, whose powers are like very much like Mr. Fantastic.
Is that her superhero name?
Yeah.
Well, that's a bit of a stretch.
Well, the point is she's a not a female version of, but a play on Mr. Fantastic from the Fantastic Four. And they have 2 kids, Violet and Dash, who each have their own sets of superpowers. All right, and then basically because of something that happens at the beginning of the movie, Sam Jackson does a poot steak, yeah. Because of something that happens at the beginning of the movie, superheroes are forced to go underground, and because like their secret identities are not known, at least not like to everyone else but the organization that watches over them, they have to basically blend into society and pretend to be normal.
People aren't liking my pun in the chat, apparently.
No, they're not. Yeah, because people like Elastigirl.
Yeah.
Edna Mode, I love, because she's voiced by I think Brad Bird. But anyway, like she's a really fun character. I really like her. And well, situation happens where Mr. Incredible is given the opportunity to be Mr. Incredible. Still kind of in secret, but be Mr. Incredible, and then just kind of like snowballs from there. So, but you need to see it. You need to see it. It is a love letter to like superheroes, basically like the comics and like the serials and so forth from like the 30s, 40s, 50s of superheroes. So yeah, and I think again it's Pixar, so it's not exact. So it's like a family friendly movie. But I really like it. It's one of their best, in my opinion. So The Incredibles. That's my number 5. So I start number 4.
Yes.
Which is another animated film, which I don't think is as good necessarily as the first movie, but I still enjoy it, mainly because of an addition of one character in this movie, and that's Shrek 2. I appreciate the jokes, the humor, because it's like can be geared to both kids and adults. And it works on all levels. But I had to include Shrek 2 because one of my favorite characters was introduced in Shrek 2, and that is Puss in Boots.
Yeah.
Who's played like just phenomenal, voice acted phenomenally by Antonio Banderas. And I love like Puss's back and forth with Donkey. That pretty much like those two, their interactions, like the lines, between the two, like their interactions, I think made that movie. So on the he had the introduction of the fairy godmother and Prince Charming and so forth, and it's again, it feels like an organic sequel to the first movie because the first movie ends with, spoiler alert, the first movie ends with Shrek and Fiona getting married. So what would be the natural course following that would be Shrek meeting the in-laws.
Yeah.
And well, the in-laws are witnessing the fact that their daughter, whom they expect to be human because she's supposed to have kissed Prince Charming, is now an ogre. And they turn far, far away into like Hollywood.
John Lithgow voices the father-in-law, doesn't he?
No, not John Lithgow. John Cleese.
Oh yes.
Yeah.
Well, isn't Lithgow?
Lithgow was the villain in the first one.
Oh yeah.
Lord Farquaad. No, John Cleese voices the father-in-law, and Julie Andrews voices the mother. No, they never explain it. I don't want to know. I really don't want to know. Somehow we did it. We just have to kind of turn our brains off there and just accept the fact that Donkey somehow impregnated Dragon. All right? I'm not going to go anywhere else from there.
I don't want to consider how that is done, to be honest.
I know. I'm just saying I don't want to know. I'm just like, it was weird enough seeing it at the end of the movie.
He would have to be extra big, wouldn't it, to actually get it far enough? Well, the dragon's big.
Yeah.
And would it be an egg that comes out?
I don't know, because it's a donkey dragon hybrid, so I have no idea. Anyway, but that's my number 4, is Shrek 2. I still put the original just above Shrek 2. I wouldn't necessarily say Shrek 2 surpassed Shrek, but it was definitely close. Like it was a very good sequel to the first Shrek movie, especially because Shrek itself was like one book. So this is entirely the studio coming up with a story post Shrek, and I think it worked.
You know what would be funny? If the donkey was female and the dragon was male.
Oh God.
And the dragon liked to have sex with a donkey. That would mean he likes it in the ass.
Moving on. What's your number 4?
Yeah, anyway. My number 4 is another director's cut movie. Has to be the director's cut. It's King Arthur, which is a new take on the King Arthur story.
I've seen that. I haven't seen it for years, so I know I've seen it, but I did not remember it well enough to put it on my list. But yeah, it would have to be the director's cut, because I remember thinking the theatrical cut was okay.
Yeah, the regular one was just okay, but the director's cut is a couple of points better. Great cast.
It's an interesting take, Jacob Watt. It's an interesting take. Clive Owen plays King Arthur. Keira Knightley plays Guinevere. How do you pronounce that guy's last name? Plays Lancelot.
Ioan Gruffudd.
Yeah.
I actually looked it up before the stream.
Yeah, so
Yeah,
he
yeah.
plays Lancelot. I remember those. I remember like the parts they played. I just don't remember the movie well enough to say I would include it on my top 10 list.
Ray Stevenson in it.
Yeah. I think like a fun. I wouldn't say necessarily a fun watch, but an interesting take.
Yeah,
On the King
it's
Arthur
very
legend.
heroic, and
Yeah.
basically they have to deal with a Viking army, which isn't a proper Viking army because it's led by a fucking Swede, who thankfully gets it in the end.
Mhm.
But they have to employ great courage and great perspicacity to overcome the Vikings, which they do. And Mads Mikkelsen is in it too.
Mhm. I
So,
think so, but like I said, it was like if you're watching this movie expecting it to be like the Arthurian legends, no.
yeah, no. It's more historically accurate
Yeah,
ideal.
essentially it's like what if King Arthur really lived? This is how he would have lived.
Yeah.
Pretty much, in a nutshell.
Yeah, it's a more less fantasy take on it.
Yeah.
There's no fantasy elements in it at all. But it's fun, good action, lots of sword fights, lots of heroics. Rewatchable. It's not the best movie ever made though.
Mm-hmm. It's worth at least one watch.
Yeah, but like I said, director's cut.
Yeah.
But yeah,
And
that
now
was
we're on.
number 4.
Yeah, now we're on to number 3.
Number 3 is a sequel
Mm-hmm.
to a very violent movie called Kill Bill. This is Kill Bill 2,
Mm-hmm.
which isn't particularly violent at all. And when I say Kill Bill, don't confuse it with Phil Bill. That
Oh
is the
god.
Hillary Clinton biopic. So don't confuse it with that. That one's actually very violent. But Kill Bill 2 is a more grounded, I guess, sequel to Kill Bill.
Well,
Um,
it's
or
well,
rather,
it's slowed down.
yeah, and it's not as action heavy at all. It has a couple of fights, but that's pretty much it.
Yeah, a lot of Kill Bill Volume 2 was flashbacks, at least in terms like for her,
Yeah.
the bride's training and so forth. So like, okay, audience, now we'll see how she's as good as she is.
Yeah, making her not a Mary Sue.
Yeah.
You see how she got her training.
Mhm.
And well, this is actually not a sequel, it's just part 2
Yeah.
of one story.
Mm-hmm.
Tarantino, who made it, considers it one movie.
Oh yeah.
But,
Mhm.
and we get to see Bill.
Because it's not because it's generally goes by the title Kill Bill 2, but then if you actually look at the title, it's like I think Volume 2. So basically,
Yeah.
it's like the second volume of the overarching story.
Yeah, Uma Thurman's fantastic. What's it? David Carradine plays Bill.
Mm-hmm.
He's
I think
great.
it's pronounced Carradine, or at least that's how I've been pronouncing it. But yeah, he plays
Yeah,
Bill.
it could be Carradine. And Michael Madsen's great in that. Daryl
Rest
Hannah.
in peace.
Yeah. Michael Parks plays his second role in this duology.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, awesome movie. But I had to put it on there because I think I had the first one on last year
Mm-hmm.
on the top 10, so needed to put this one there because same story. And I watch it like once every second year. I think I'll rewatch it. So great soundtrack.
Oh yeah. Mm-hmm.
So anyway, my number 3 is Kill Bill 2.
All right. My number 3. I never really read the comics or got really delved into the comics, so I can't say if it's how comic accurate necessarily this movie is, but I remember really liking it when I saw it in theaters. I liked the performances and so forth. As much as I dislike, personally, essentially, the lead actor in this movie, especially from what he said recently, he does a very good job in the role, and that's Hellboy.
Oh, Ron Perlman has said all kinds of shit for the last 10 years.
Oh yeah, I'm saying it's like, personally, I don't like Ron Perlman,
Yeah.
but I will give him his due that he was probably so far the best on-screen iteration of Hellboy.
Oh yeah, I nailed it.
You have Selma Blair in it as well. Like her abilities is she can control fire. I'm blanking on the actor's name. He does every time it kind of calls for a role where it's a character on like the thin side, they always cast this actor. And he played Abe Sapien.
Yeah.
I'm sure the chat will help me out a little bit with that. But Doug Jones, thank you, Doug Jones.
Yeah, but
Mhm.
wasn't he voiced by Fraser Crane's brother or something?
Yeah, I'm saying it's like, but in terms of physicality, basically, he was like the physical presence of Abe Sapien. So that's why I consider Abe Sapien. So when I said whenever whenever a role is called for someone who's on the thin side, typically it's Doug Jones.
Yeah.
So he basically donned the makeup for Abe Sapien. You have John Hurd as Hellboy's father, quote unquote, and so forth. And it definitely, I would say, yeah, I would agree it needed an R rating. But I'd still, as far as like PG-13 movies goes, it's still, for me, it's still entertaining.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm saying he said some stupid shit, which is like what I don't like him for, but I will give him credit where credit's due. So he'll do stuff like that, and he is the best iteration so far of Hellboy on screen. And so I don't want to spoil a lot of what happens in the movie, especially if people haven't seen it. But Hellboy, like a portal opens between like our worlds and Hellboy's world. Okay, I'm going to be very vague, basically. And Hellboy finds his way into our world as a child, and he's raised by John Hurd's characters. That's why I said John Hurd plays the father. And then as the movie progresses, let's just say all hell is about to break loose.
Yeah, and the Germans are behind it.
Yes. So, like I said, I don't want to say too much, especially if people have not seen the movie.
It basically, it starts in World War II.
Yeah, so Hellboy is older than he looks.
Yeah,
but that's because of what he is, and I don't want to say what he is if you haven't seen it.
It's very. I don't know if you play the Wolfenstein games,
no.
but it ties into the Yazis diddling with the occult, which they were doing back in World War II. It didn't work, but they were trying to. That's where Indiana Jones ideas come from too.
Oh yeah, they definitely delved into the occult. I have a book somewhere, Hitler and the Occult. They tried their best, failed miserably, but they tried their best. But but it basically takes that bit of history and it's like, okay, what if they actually did succeed in some shit?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm saying like he looks older, but he ages so slowly that technically he's like the equivalent of like a teenager or a 20-something.
Yeah.
Because of how slowly he ages. So. But if you haven't seen the movie, I don't want to say what exactly he is because that information is it's kind of through exposition, but at the same time, it's like that exposition makes sense. So you find out what he is and why the villains are going after him.
Yeah. Gravy D is mentioning the early 2000s Wolfenstein. That would be Return to Castle Wolfenstein, which I still maintain is the best first-person shooter game ever made.
I did enjoy 2. Not as much as the first one, but it was enjoyable. And those are really the only 2. The Ron Perlman Hellboy movies, Hellboy and Hellboy 2: The Golden Army, like I said, are the only decent adaptations that I've watched of Hellboy. The one with David Harbour sucked. and I
I think
have not watched the recent one.
I think they did a couple of animated ones at the time too.
I'm saying like live action is like in terms of like adaptations, some of the best that I've seen is Ron Perlman's role as Hellboy. The only parts, which one had the walking tree, walking house? Was that David Harbour's one?
Yeah.
Because if that's the one, that's the only part I liked. Because that was Baba Yaga. And I was like, okay, that's cool.
Baba Yaga, for those who don't know, is from Eastern European folklore.
Mm-hmm.
It's Baba Yaga is a witch, ogress creature who has a house with wings and that stands on chicken legs.
Yeah, so when I saw that, I was like, that's cool.
Yeah.
That was cool. I like that part. Everything else around it, I was like, I remember feeling bored out of my mind at some parts. Anyway, yeah, my number 3 is Hellboy from 2004, Ron Perlman's Hellboy.
And
I have no idea.
yeah, that's. I also said that was weird when I saw it because it was just that's a female character.
Yeah,
female mythological creature, folklore, more maybe.
Mm-hmm.
But
so I'm not sure why they used that term when it came to John Wick.
you know what I think happened?
Mm-hmm.
Someone Google translated boogeyman.
Maybe.
Then options came up, and they went with that one.
Yeah, without actually doing some research. I still love John Wick, but I'm like, they actually did a little bit of research. Like, oh, Baba Yaga's a woman. Never mind. All right, so we're on number 2.
Yep.
All right, my number 2 is a sequel, and there's only one major downside, in my opinion.
I know what this is. It's my number 1.
There's only one downside to this movie, and that's portrayal of a certain character, but it's a sequel to the first one. And I think that even the sequel and overall was better than the first one, and that is Spider-Man 2.
Yeah, it's freaking awesome.
I'm not gonna say too much. It's Sam Raimi's Spider-Man and basically Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man. Peter Parker is living in New York. He's trying to balance being Spider-Man and being Peter Parker, and kind of failing a bit miserably, only because he's stressing out too much. He's stressing out too much. This is what I never got about his powers. Basically, his powers should not be tied to his stress level, but somehow they're tied to his stress level. So he's kind of loses them, which doesn't make any sense to me because they are ingrained within his body. Basically, it's not like his body stops making webs or anything like that. It's just, I guess, he has performance issues. You have Alfred Molina as Doc Ock, who is very good. He's, I think,
perfect.
Yeah, perfect casting for that role as a villain. And they even made him sympathetic in a way. They even kind of found a way to make him a little bit sympathetic, but at the same time, he's still a threat. And yeah, one of the best endings too. I did not like Mary Jane in the movie, but I do not fault Kirsten Dunst necessarily. She can only go with the direction she's given. But I did not like the portrayal of Mary Jane Watson in that movie. She is the one big downside to me in this film.
This is also the first movie and only Spider-Man movie where Spider-Man gets completely defeated.
Mm-hmm.
And it's by Bruce Campbell, who says he can't go into the theater.
Yeah, pretty much, yeah.
And Spider-Man, respects it. So Bruce Campbell defeated Spider-Man in that scene.
Yep. I like how, because Bruce Campbell is Sam Raimi's friend, how, Bruce Campbell has, a small role in, each one of the Spider-Man movies.
He named them in the first one.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. But I'm saying, it's it's kind of like a Bruce Campbell cameo in each one. In the first one, it's he's the ring announcer for those underground fights, and he named Spider-Man. The second one, he's that he denies Peter Parker the entry into the theater to see because Spider-Man, but Peter Parker was late to see Mary Jane on stage or whatever. And yeah, he was a waiter in 3. Because I remember, like, like when he was like looking at the ring Peter Parker got, he had to get one of those like eye magnifying things and goes, "Oh, I can see it."
Which means he actually teams up with Spider-Man.
Yeah. So there you go. And here he gets more story. Yeah, I'm saying, like, again, nothing against personal against Kirsten Dunst. She, like, like, was how, like, her performance is basically how she was given direction. But I did not like the portrayal of Mary Jane Watson. It's like the one big downside for me in Spider-Man 2 and like the Spider-Man Sam Raimi trilogy overall is the portrayal of Mary Jane Watson in those movies.
She was a twat.
Yeah. So yeah, but that's my number 2, Spider-Man 2.
The best actor in those 3 movies is Rosemary Harris as Aunt Jane.
Oh yeah, I liked her. I liked her portrayal as Aunt May.
Aunt May, sorry. Yeah, I Mary Jane Watson.
Yes.
But yeah, Rosemary Harris. And the guy who plays his boss, J. whatever.
Well, the character's name is J. Jonah Jameson.
Yeah, J. Jonah Jameson, who is played by the same guy in all the multiverse stuff. So the character's like, he's a constant.
Yeah.
He's the same in every universe, which is kind of fun.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So, all right. Your number 2. Sorry, I'm trying to think on. I'm not feeling well.
My number 2 is a disaster movie called The Day After Tomorrow, which is one of many disaster movies from the late 90s. And
I remember not liking that movie.
I loved it. I know it's bad, but I think the poles shift or something, and then it affects the North Atlantic current, and it causes a rapid ice age to hit the northern hemisphere, really, and people die, like, a lot. Millions croak in the cold, and I was sitting watching the thing, like, yeah, there you go, you motherfuckers, deal with some average Norwegian weather, right?
Yeah.
But good cast. Jake Gyllenhaal is in it. What's his name? Dennis Quaid. Ian Holm is in it. He croaks in the North Atlantic because he's on a little platform thing when the cold hits, and I thought he deserved it because when it happens, he's cheering for Manchester United, so he got exactly what he deserved.
Okay.
Yeah, don't feel sorry for him at all. But the effects are well done for the time, and it turns into a survival movie, and I tend to like those. People trying to survive, and it's very rewatchable, and it's campy and it's fun, but don't get your science lessons from this one.
No, definitely not. Definitely not. It is pretty political too. Not exactly holding that against it, but yeah, don't get your science from this movie at all.
Yeah, there's some climate preaching in it. But it had to do with the melting poles, which have now, regrown.
It basically was like a climate change scare movie that never materialized.
Yeah, but fun and rewatchable. And my number 1 is Spider-Man 2, which we've already talked about. So,
all right, I don't think you're going to guess my number 1.
I probably won't. Is it Dodgeball?
No. Dodgeball didn't make my list, obviously. So it's no. It's not Dodgeball.
National Treasure?
Nope.
Then I don't know.
Quick guess, Chad. Quick guess, and then I'll go into it. I can just about guarantee no one's going to guess. Because, no, not Ray. I don't think too many of you guys in the chat have seen this movie. Probably not.
Probably some anime.
Nope. Nope.
Yeah, I have no clue.
Not Secret Window, not Ginger Snaps 2. Nope. All right. It's a sports movie. Essentially. Dealing with the Winter Olympics from 1980. Or the lead up to the 1980 Winter Olympics. Starring Kurt Russell, Patricia Harris, and a slew of cast that was probably big back then. Miracle.
Never even heard of it.
That's why I said I don't think too many people would have remembered this movie came out or had seen it, basically. But Miracle with Kurt Russell. Basically, it again, don't exactly get your history from Hollywood, but it details the formation of the U.S. Olympics hockey team for the 1980 Olympics, basically, because up to that point, the Soviet Union had won since 1964, basically. So, each year the U.S. has lost, basically. So Kurt Russell's brought in. And he's like, okay, if you're gonna hire me as a coach, this is how I'm going to train these guys. Boom, and he's begins forming his team. And not too many female characters in it. Like majority male cast, but guess fucking what? I love it. Yeah, I typically do gravitate to horror and action, horror films, basically. But, despite it being a sports movie, it is a very good movie. It, in my opinion, is a very good movie. You actually care about just about every one of the characters in this film. So it's this. He's creating this hockey team and so forth, and it's leads up to what's called the Miracle on Ice. That's why it's called Miracle. It is a very good movie, and I think it kind of flew under the radar for most people when it dropped in 2004. Because I don't remember seeing much marketing for it when that movie came out. I remember the trailer showing, or you're hearing the audio from the actual event when it happens, basically, when the actual 1980 Winter Olympics, or the U.S. Against Soviet Union, that competition. You hear the actual audio from that, basically, which what I appreciated. And I think that you should watch it at least once, Steve.
Yeah,
Kurt Russell is very good. Patricia Harris, is that her last name? But anyway, she plays his wife, and oh my god, she supports her husband.
Yeah.
Oh my god, a woman supports her husband.
Yeah, imagine the feminists watching that now. They're like, oh my god.
I like the fact that it's slow because it gives you time to care about each of the. I call them characters, but they're based on real people, basically. They're real people, but it gives you time to actually care about them. So when a player is cut or anything like that from the team, you're like, oh man, I appreciated it being slower. Because if it was too fast, you wouldn't care about these guys. So you're supposed to care. You're supposed to follow them and care about them becoming a team and getting to, as a team, getting competing in the U.S. Winter Olympics in 1980. Or I should say the Winter Olympics in 1980. So I appreciate that it was slow. I would have rather it been a little slow build up because I want to care about these people. I want to care about, Kurt Russell as a coach, bringing these guys together. I want to care about the team he puts together because each one has different personalities and so forth. So you can see why he's picking the ones he's picking and so forth. And the formation of the U.S. hockey team. But anyway, that's my number one. So if you haven't seen it, or if you haven't seen it in a while, I recommend giving it a watch. Normally, I don't gravitate to sports movies. Normally, I'm not, I wouldn't say I hate them, but normally I'm not a fan of sports movies because they're not my thing. But I remember seeing that movie when it came out and just kind of pretty much falling in love with it. like you care about all the characters and so forth. You like you feel for them, you empathize with them, and you root for them. Like you want to root for them. So, and the Soviet Union is like not exactly villainized in the movie, but it's not exactly shown in a good light either because it's the Soviet Union. They're not supposed to be in a good light in that point. At that point, it also kind of touches on the because it basically follows them over like the course of like a year to 2 years, basically the formation of the team. So it touches on the Iranian Revolution in 1979. So you hear. Like I think they played actual audio from like news accounts back then, basically, when those Iranian, I'm going to call them terrorists because they were fucking terrorists, stormed, like took control of the U.S. embassy in Iran. So it touches on that a little bit to give you perspective on the time period before, like, and that's like kind of think right before, the Olympics happen, basically. Argo does detail that, but Argo details because this actually happened. This actually happened. I mean, Hollywood embellishment aside, this actually happened because there were about 6 or so who escaped the U.S. embassy during that siege and made it to the Canadian embassy and were hidden by the Canadians for that period. While that Argo plan, the whole we're coming in to make a movie and so forth, guys, that actually happened to rescue those like 6 out and get them out of Iran. That actually happened. Like, it seems incredible, but it actually happened. I think I have the book that details it. So I enjoyed Argo for what it was, but then again, I know the actual account. And it actually it seems incredible, but it did actually happen. They set up this whole scenario where like they're coming into Iran under the guise that they're like looking for places to film the movie Argo, and that was an actual script. They took all these scripts that were rejected, picked Argo, and said, "Okay, we need to get to this. We need to get into Iran, and so forth." And boom, that's all they get. That's all they get in to rescue the 6 from the, get them out of the Canadian embassy. Now, Argo was 2012, A Guy in His Room, but Argo is tied to the events of the Iranian Revolution, where the siege on the embassy happened, which is kind of detailed a little bit in the movie that I'm talking about for my number 1. That's Miracle. So my number 1 movie for 2004 is Miracle. So you got 2 movies that tie into that scenario. But I enjoyed Argo. I probably would put Argo on one of my top 10 lists when we get to 2012. Because I know the actual history. So somewhere I have the book. I might have packed it up, but I read the account it was based on. And it's a very interesting read. But anyway, that's my list. My 2004 subjective list. So I told you guys you wouldn't guess my number 1.
No chance.
Nope. But yeah. So I gotta look at the calendar. Gotta look at the calendar real fast on my phone. There's 5 Wednesdays in December. Do you mind doing it on the 10th? Because the 3rd is the first Wednesday in December, it's still kind of close to like tailing off of Thanksgiving. Steve?
I don't know.
I'm just asking you because like normally you prefer it near like the beginning of the month, and I'm like, do you mind doing it on the 10th?
Yeah. Yeah, we
Okay,
can do
because
that.
the third, while the third is the first Wednesday, it's pretty much like still at coming off of Thanksgiving.
Yeah,
And
well, Thanksgiving is nothing to me anyway. We don't
I
celebrate.
know, but it's like a lot here, especially because we're having Thanksgiving here at the house, and work is gonna be done leading up to it. I'm just gonna at that point I just want to relax and basically maybe if I do streams, do solo streams that week. So I'd say the 10th would be the 2005 films.
Yeah.
Because like I said, there's 5 Wednesdays in December. The 3rd, the 10th, the 17th, the 24th, Christmas Eve, and New Year's Eve. So so I will remind you leading up to the next the next top 10 stream, but right now Chad is it's December 10th.
Yeah.
So you have until December 10th to come up with your top 10 2005 films.
Yeah, and the 2000s aren't easy. There's a couple of years there where it's kind of a lot of duds, but so it's kind of easier. But for the most part, it's cluttered with good stuff.
Yep. I mean, I didn't count so I put together an overall list before narrowing down my top 10. Let's see, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20, 22, 24, 20, and 25 is 49, 50, 52, 54, 56, 58, 60. 60 films I had to narrow down to 10.
Yeah, I had about 20 because I kind of the way I do it is like I look up all the movies I watched and liked and stuff, and then as I do it, does this have a chance against the rest? And then no, so I just end up with the ones that have a chance.
Yeah, I just put together like the big list because I know inevitably I'll forget a movie. So I'll put together, if I remember seeing it, if I remember anything about it, I put it on the list. And then I narrow it down from, okay, how well do I remember it? Okay, that's interesting, Jacob. I'd have to check that out. Thank you. Then I go, how well do I remember it? Narrow it down even further from there. But that's it. That is it, ladies and gentlemen. So tomorrow we'll be should be live doing a reading stream. I'll be reading one chapter from Return of the King, and that is The Siege of Gondor, chapter 4, because it's about 24 pages. So that might be definitely will be a slightly longer reading stream. And then the plan is for Friday, unless anything changes, to be live on my YouTube and Kick at least for some Battlefield 6. So we'll see. Moving forward to the end of the week, and then I don't think I'm definitely not going to be able to stream Saturday because it's again and or scenario where it's like I'm either going to be going with my mom running errands and or hopefully seeing Sisu 2 because I believe that comes out this weekend.
I haven't seen the first one.
I love the first one. And then doing a watch party in the evening, Saturday evening, next weekend. So it's what? So it's the 21st. Oh, so it's the 21st. Okay, never mind then. I definitely will most likely be going to at least run. My mom wants to run errands, and like I said, it gets busy. Oh, Jack of all casuals. Hello. But like she's like, it is going to be busy leading up to Thanksgiving. So we'll see. And she was talking about like, doing stuff this Saturday. So we'll see. It's an if situation right now. But that's it, ladies and gentlemen. So again, Steve, let everybody know where they can find you, where you'll be, and all that fun stuff.
Miss Martin's channel, Miss Martin Muses' channel tomorrow for a Halloween movie talk. We're going to talk about the movies we watched, the horror movies we watched for Halloween this year. It's going to be me and Maury and Miss Martin Muses. And then I'll be on this channel on the 10th of December.
Yes, next December. In December. Yep. So, no worries, Jack. Hope you enjoyed the replay. Going into our personal top 10 lists. And again, reading stream tomorrow, chat. Maybe Battlefield 6 stream on Friday. Most likely no stream Saturday. Watch party in the evening on my Discord. Sunday. If I do anything in the afternoon after D&D, it would be possibly joining My Nerdy Home when she does her stream. Playing Battlefield, most likely playing Battlefield 6, and Talk Nerdy to Us should be on her channel. Unless anything changes, it should be on her channel at 8:30 p.m. Eastern on YouTube. So take care, everyone. Have a good rest of your day or evening, wherever you are in the world, and I will see you all tomorrow, where we go into the Siege of Gondor. Peace.
You're still here? It's over. Go home. Go.